So this might be the closest we ever get to a thoughts on NXT TakeOver, insert city name here, build up, because from what was recently reported a week ago at the time of this video, it was announced that Ricochet, Candice LeRae, and the tag team War Machine had all signed deals with WWE and all reporting to the Performance Center. When I had heard this, I was like, okay, they're all going to be at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. Usually, for some reason, around this time, they tend to get well-known stars in WWE around NXT TakeOver season to like make a debut like in the crowd or show up at the end of the show or even in the middle of the show. Yeah, that seems to always be the case. And as usual, I have a pessimistic, which I will talk about at the end of this when I get to go talking about to those who don't know these guys and gal. I will discuss who they are. Ricochet, let's start with him since he has a lot of things to work with. Ricochet is 29 years old. He's pretty young, so he can be around for a long time. He started his career back in 2003, and he has been well known in several promotions. Evolve, Dragon Gate, I'm trying to pronounce the C promotion, Chikra, I don't know. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Dragon Gate, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he was even on Lucha Underground. I believe he was called Prince Puma in Lucha Underground. Let me just double check my research. Let's see. He's okay. Yeah, Prince Puma. He played the masked character Prince Puma, and he was also the inaugural and two-time Lucha Underground champion. And here's the thing. I never watched him before. I never watched any of these three, any of the other three. But I do know one thing about him. Like, there has to be a reason why he's in my WWE 2K18 universe mode. Well, it's not that. The way I got introduced to Ricochet is a pretty well-known match that I found from Titan Highlights HD, a highlight channel on YouTube, where it showed Ricochet teaming up with Will Ospreay and Matt Sindel, also known as Evan Bourne back when he was in WWE, fighting Bullet Club's member, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole in an amazing six-man tag team match. I believe it was the pay-per-view an event called Battle of Los Angeles, when Adam Cole was still wrestling in the Independents. That was, oh god, that was a pretty freaking awesome match. Like, yeah, I got my blood pumping, like, oh my god, this is freaking awesome. Like, here's the thing. Whenever I watch the independent wrestling, whenever I do, I feel like they don't lose anything. In fact, I get the opposite. I feel like they gain something if they do awesome, legendary type matches, and they're given more freedom and whatnot, and they could go somewhere else. They're not tied to a contract. They could go somewhere else since their contracts are more or less restrictive than WWE. But, yeah, I was really concerned when I heard about he'd be going to WWE. Like, yeah, I'll get to that. But Ricochet is 29 years old, I said. He is going to be around for a long time, provided nothing happens in between that, because we all know what happened to Paige, unfortunately. And I already talked about that in the Royal Rumble build-up. Now let's get to Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae is, okay, she's a professional wrestler, obviously, who began wrestling back in 2002. She's actually married to Johnny Gargano. You know, Johnny Wrestling. He's currently slated to be in the main event of NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. So I'm pretty certain Candice LeRae is going to get involved by being a thorn to to the champion. Like, that's going to be really interesting. But here's the thing: she actually was in WWE for a little bit. She was there for like 1 year once. She wasn't a signed wrestler yet in WWE, but she did show up. She participated in a #1 Contenders Battle Royal match for Asuka's Women's Championship on May 3rd as an enhancement challenge because they didn't have enough women to fill up that roster, but she was eliminated by Billie Kay. She then returned, participating in another Battle Royal to gain a spot in the Fatal 4 match for the vacant Women's Championship of NXT TakeOver War Games, but once again was unsuccessful. And then, between those two times, in July, she was actually announced as one of the participants of the Mae Young Classic tournament. She defeated Renee Michelle in the first round, and then defeated Nicole Savoy, in the second round before being eliminated that same day by Shayna Baszler, who is also signed to WWE, and it was one of the 4 horsewomen. So, when that happened, she officially, afterwards, everyone was surprised she wasn't signed, but she has some apparently unfinished business, I think, in the independent scene. But, yeah, the developmental side of things, she signed a contract on January 16th like the other guys, and she is now reporting to the Performance Center and most likely going to show up at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia as helping her husband. So, that's going to say something. She's also, this Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, she's a former one-time World Tag Team Champion with her partner Joey Ryan as the world's cutest tag team. Now, people are wondering, wait, who's Joey Ryan again? If I'm correct, I think that's the guy who, yeah, he does that thing. I really don't want to say it. In fact, every time when I look at it, every time when I saw it, when I first saw a video, I was like, okay. Why? I saw one video, and I was like, how do I explain this? Yeah, I'll move on from that. So, yeah. So, she was a former World Tag Team Champion with Joey Ryan, and she's also the only female title holder in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla's history. That's saying something. And yet, Sunny says that she won't fit on the main roster. She's ugly. And I was like, really? You're... like, okay... this ain't the old days when looks was the most dominant force on earth in wrestling in WWE. It's a different world now. And beauty to me is subjective. But anyways, let's get to the tag team, War Machine. Now, they formed their tag team partnership back in 2014 and had a pretty wild ride since then. They were Brew City Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They were New Japan Pro Wrestling's IWGP Tag Team Champions. They were Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. They were VIP Tag Team Champions. And they were What Culture Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, which has now been rebranded as Defiant Wrestling. They had a pretty hell of a career. And when I look at them, I was thinking like, okay, they could be what the Ascension were in NXT. They're most likely going to do that. They're probably going to be what the Ascension were in NXT. Candice LeRae, I don't know where she's going to go in NXT. Like, I know it's guaranteed to be most likely awesome, hopefully. But, yeah. All these people, they're going to go places in NXT. Like, they're seriously going to go places. Ricochet especially. And this is where my pessimism comes in. I have no doubts they're going to do awesome in NXT. Even No Way Jose, which I thought initially was a stupid gimmick, but it's grown on me, at least managed to accomplish something and seem content to where he was, whereas on main rosterville, he would just be a cog in the wheel instead of, you know, being like some sort of necessity to hype up the show. It's when they're all going to move to the main roster is my problem. Ricochet, he's 197 pounds. 205 Live inbound. Yeah, he's going to... by the time Ricochet goes to main rosterville and whenever, if the Cruiserweight or 205 division is still around, yeah, he's going to be locked there, like Hideo Itami is. So, Yeah, and even worse, they're gonna take away everything that made him famous. The moves that he's known for, they're gonna restrict all these people's move sets like they usually do under the safe WWE style. But yeah, he's 205 inbound. Candice LeRae, okay, that's a different problem. Is that she probably can't do well on the main roster? It's more like, will she even be used in any major storylines main roster problem? Like, okay, on Raw, really think about it. How many women were centered around... How many women were actually centered in storylines and focused upon and given development and momentum and had some big important matches? Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair back in 2016. And then in 2017, after the Superstar shakeup, it went to just being Alexa Bliss. And then in 2018 so far, it's Alexa Bliss and Asuka. I refuse to acknowledge Nia Jax's storyline because that's now dead in the water because Enzo's fired from WWE. So, yeah, unless she's one of those women, she's not going to go anywhere on Raw. If she goes on SmackDown, she might have more of a chance. But even then, they also risk making her lost in the shuffle. Especially since Ryan Ward's no longer in power. So, yeah, Ricochet has the worst case scenario. Candice LeRae has the somewhat alright scenario. If she goes to SmackDown, she has the possibility of succeeding a little bit. But War Machine is another thing. Okay, they made a name for themselves being the tag team War Machine. And here's the thing. In NXT, I can actually see them being a part of Sanity, too. In fact, I would like to see Sanity versus War Machine. I will call for that. Especially if they have Killian Dane in the match. Killian Dane is freaking awesome. And I never thought I would say that, but after what he did at War Games, I am all in for him. So, yeah. Man, Killian Dane was awesome in that show, in that match. War Machine apparently might not be called War Machine. What? Yeah, there are reports coming out that WWE's articles have been calling them by their character names, Hanson and Raymond Rowe, or just Hanson and Rowe. Because long names are complicated, so they can't call him Raymond Rowe. But yeah, the fact that they might just strip away War Machine's name is concerning. Like, I could buy it if they just had copyright reasons, but in Vince's logic, I'm pretty certain he's convinced that if they are called War Machine, that will scare children, especially during the current political climate. But I'm not going into politics right now. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he said, War Machine is a violent name. We gotta go ahead and take it out of it. But, sir, they're best known as War Machine. I don't care. Think of the children, damn it. Especially since they're NXT guys. They're scum. Kevin Dunn told me. So, yeah, like I said, all these people have a huge future, have most likely are guaranteed great moments in NXT. I mean, Rosterville... No, I'm just pessimistic on that. But if they somehow do succeed, I'll be surprised. Ricochet, no, he's 205 bound. I cannot think of anything positive for that. Unless they get rid of the Cruiserweight division, then... Or they revamp it and make the Cruiserweights actually be allowed to go out of the Cruiserweight division and fight with the bigger boys in Vince's eyes. Like, the Cruiserweights in WWE back then did. Like, did Rey Mysterio winning World Heavyweight Championship just go over Vince's head? Though, of course, he was WCW, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And he did book Rey Mysterio to be weak as an underdog champion, which was stupid. So, yeah. Yeah. So... Ricochet, I don't know what his... I'm pessimistic on his future in on the main roster. Candice LeRae and War Machine, they might have a chance, but their NXT allegiance, along with Ricochet, doesn't help their case because Vince is a very discriminatory man when it comes to that developmental territory that I must stress is part of his company, but he seems to have forgotten that, which is understandable because even I tend to forget that it's part of the WWE, unless they downright say it's part of WWE, because I really, really, really freaking can't believe that this great package of wrestling material is part of the same company as the WWE conglomerate that has shown they don't give a damn and are led by political power-hungry wrestlers like John Cena and NXT haters like Kevin Dunn and senile businessmen like Vince McMahon. So, yeah, pardon me if I'm pessimistic on their futures on the main roster when they get, quote, promoted. So, yeah. Sorry if I got depressing on that on this end video, but I really do hope that things work out for them. They're very... I've seen some of their work. They are talented guys. War Machine is awesome. Candice LeRae did well as best as she could in the Mae Young Classic. And Ricochet, I just have to stress, 6-man tag team match with Matt Sindel and Will Ospreay against the Bullet Club was pretty freaking awesome at Battle of Los Angeles. So, yeah, those were my thoughts on the latest WWE signings of Ricochet, Candice LeRae, and War Machine. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.